What's up, guys? Welcome back to another daily Bible reading snapshot. Today, we're going to see the beginning of the book of 2 Kings. We see the King Ahaziah, first of all, who is the son of Ahab. He falls down. He has an incident, an accident. Says he got sick, maybe some type of infection or something. He goes seeking advice and help from foreign gods. And when that happens, Elijah stops the messenger in his tracks. And he says, "Are you looking for foreign gods' help because you don't have a God in Israel? Actually, you have the true God in Israel, and you're not listening to him." It says after this king got so mad, he sent this group of 50 men to come track down Elijah. And when they do, fire comes and consumes those 50 men. So it says the king sent 50 more men, and then fire consumes them. The third captain of these 50 men, the third group of 50 men, when he comes to Elijah, he says, please, don't kill us. Don't kill us. Please, don't kill us. We fear God. Don't kill us. So Elijah says, okay, fine. I'll go talk to the king. When he does, it makes it very clear that this guy is going to die, and he doesn't have a son to reign after him. So it says that there's a guy named Joram who's going to reign in his place. And that's what we start to see going on in the next few chapters. So chapter 2 is the end of Elijah's life. And it says that he was going to be taken up into heaven in a whirlwind. And it's almost like people around knew what was going to go on, which is kind of a weird scene. We don't know that much about this because this text doesn't give us that much information. But it seems like the godly people around Elijah knew that he was going to be taken to heaven, and it was this thing that was known to these people. And it says they go. They pass Jericho. They go to the Jordan, so they're coming down down into the basin where the Jordan River runs. They cross the Jordan miraculously, and then God takes up Elijah in a whirlwind, in this chariot of fire, into the sky. So Elijah actually does not die. Elijah is raptured. He's brought up to God. He's one of the few people in the Bible. We only have Enoch and Elijah who are brought up like that to God. And what we see here is that after this, Elisha is going to take his place. Elisha will take Elijah's place. And before Elijah was taken away, one thing that Elisha asked was, "Can you give me a double portion of your spirit?" Which that doesn't make much sense to us, right? We don't usually ask for that. But Elijah said, that's a hard thing you're asking. But hey, if you see me when I go up, it's going to happen for you. And Elisha does see him go up, and he sees and he believes in God's power in a unique way here. And it says that he has a double portion of his spirit. We see that played out through Elisha's life because Elisha is going to do twice the amount of miracles, twice the amount of signs that Elijah did in his lifetime. So it's cool that the author of Kings shows us how God actually fulfills that right there. So Elijah's taken away. Elisha goes, and when Elisha goes, there's this incident that happens. He, first of all, heals the water in Jericho, which is helpful. That's miracle number 1 or 2. Then something interesting happens. A group of young men, I can only assume, a group of 8th grade boys. That's kind of just what I think about this group. It says they came, they were jeering. They were making fun of Elisha because apparently he was bald. And they're making fun of him saying, "Go up, you bald head, go up, you bald head, unbelievable." So it says after that, Elisha cursed the boys, and 2 female bears jump out of the woods and tear them to pieces. So application point number 1, do not make fun of men of God who are bald, okay? Or any old bald men. Don't make fun of them because you never know what's going to happen to you next. So that's chapter 2. Chapter 3, it says that the king of Moab, a guy named Mesha, he rebels against Israel and rebels against Judah. And then there's this big war between Moab, which if you can think of a map, with the Dead Sea right here, the Mediterranean Sea up over here, Kingdom of the North, Kingdom of the South, Moab is on the other side of the Dead Sea, the other side of the Jordan. It says that they begin to rebel. And this guy named Mesha, he rebels, he's the leader, and it says that they are actually not going to win because what happens here is Elisha goes and he says good things about this coalition of kingdoms here between Judah and Israel, and he says, "I don't even want to talk to you, king in the north, but I guess I have to because at least the king of the south is here. I honor Jehoshaphat here." But it says next that these Moabites come and fight, and what they think is they see this water that comes miraculously there. So Elisha does a miracle, gives this water to these armies in the wilderness that don't have any water. It says the water comes spilling out from Edom, and it says in the morning sun, which makes sense. In the morning sun, when the sun is rising, sun rises in such a way where it appears red, kind of like our sunsets here. And when it comes up in the morning, it appears red, and it glides off this water here, and they think it's blood. So the Moabites think, wow, they went out and they're killing each other. Great, let's go take out these Israelites and Judeans. But when they show up to the camp, instead of seeing bloodshed, what they see is armies ready to fight them. So the Moabites actually are defeated in this sense. And it says they're defeated, but they go away. But actually it says in the last verse, verse 27, great wrath came against Israel, and they withdrew to their own land. So it seems like the Moabites had a really good counterattack that happened. And all of this is described really well here, but I want you to know just about this text in particular. If you want to Google this would be cool. The Mesha Stela, or the Moabite stone, they're two names for the same thing. There's this big rock that they actually found, archaeologists found, where the king, Mesha, he writes about his victory over the Israelites, because he saw this counterattack as a victory, because he kept the Israelites out of Moab when really they came in and attacked them. It was pretty bad. But anyway, that is an archaeological find. You could actually go see that in Paris. It's in the Louvre, so if you live in Paris or something, or you want to go check that out, it's there. But you can Google it, the Moabite stone, and read all about it, which is another just cool thing where the Bible is confirmed by what we find in archaeology. It's not proved. We don't need that archaeology, but it certainly is cool to see how what we find in the world corresponds with these kings and what happened here. So that's here in 2 Kings, the beginning of 2 Kings. But let's look at the New Testament. We were starting John 3 before. We're in the middle of John 3 right now, in verse 22 to 36. It's a really short reading, but what it's really all about is you have John the Baptist, who is saying good things about Jesus here. He's praising and exalting Jesus, while people were expecting John to be jealous of Jesus. But John says, look, I'm like I'm not like the best man. He's like the bridegroom. I'm excited that he's here. Why would I be jealous? Why would I be mad that he's getting attention and popularity? That's what I want. And he says a famous line here in verse 30. He says, he, that's Jesus, must increase, but I must decrease. I must decrease. His role was to proclaim the word. He was the voice to tell about the word. John was meant to proclaim the excellencies of Jesus. He wasn't there for himself. He was just an announcer. He was the voice that was going out. He says at the end here, this is actually, I think, moving from John the Baptist speaking to John the Apostle's commentary on it, which is why you don't see the quotation marks between verse 31 and verse 36. John makes an important statement here in verse 36. He says, whoever believes in the Son has eternal life. Whoever does not obey the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God remains on him. It's a big spiritual truth there, that God's wrath is already on people for their sin. And the only way for that wrath to be taken off of people is for them to trust and obey Jesus Christ, the Son of God. So we see here, super important, that Jesus is greater than John the Baptist here. And John knows that. We need to recognize that as well. Right? Jesus is so much greater than us. We need to live for him, not try to make him fit into our lives in some weird way. We need to adapt our lives to him and live to serve him. So that should be good encouragement for us today. So take that as encouragement in your life today. Live for Christ and make sure you're serving him, making your life about him, not the other way around. So thanks for reading with us. We'll see you back tomorrow for another daily Bible reading snapshot.